Rated M for mature.
Don't let your kids watch it!
Hey there, Artie!
Here we go. The text looks like it's less red now. Even if I turned on the light in my hideout, nobody would see it because of the pile of abandoned cars in the way. While I am aware of that, I decided not to turn it on just in case. It's a bit scary to hide in this quiet place, alone in the dark, holding my breath. I'd have to keep myself busy with something. But my brain won't work properly, and I don't have the energy to think about what to do from now on. However, I don't have the courage to lie down to sleep and regain my strength either. Every time I heard or thought I heard a suspicious sound, I'd gasp and stare into the dark. That's all I did, all night. Luisi believes that the Sonozaki family was behind the conspiracy, but he can't do much without solid evidence. For that, he has to locate the facility where they're doing research on the parasite, but we have no idea where it is. I think the Erie Clinic is still the most likely site, but I have no credible evidence. Really, I don't think they do their research in a place so obvious even I could guess it. They might be using one of the bomb shelters that was built during the war as some kind of secret underground research center. Now that I come to think about it, I remember a secret building nobody is allowed into on the premises of the Furide Shrine. I think it's called the Ritual Storehouse. According to Mio-san's research, the Furide Shrine is the center of the local worship of Oyoshiro-sama. The priest keeps the tools for ceremonies in the Ritual Storehouse. One of the ceremonies is the Bazaar Festival with Tanagashi. And so the shrine storage must be something very sacred. If I remember right, Watanagashi was also a medical ritual designed to vaccinate and immunize people against the all-too-strong parasites. That means the tools they used for Watanagashi were medical ones. Nope, that's wrong! If my guess is right, the Ritual Storehouse is the most sacred place in the village, as well as the most appropriate building to use for medical purposes. It's suspicious. There might be a secret research center in the Ritual Storehouse. Damn it! The police should be performing a raid on the Ritual Storehouse, not the Erie Clinic. Why didn't I think of that when I was talking to Uisi on the phone earlier? I hope Uisi realizes this too. Should I go back to the phone booth and tell him about the Ritual Storehouse? But when I thought that, I heard a car coming closer. I held my breath. It's not normal for a car to come here this late at night. I thought about many possible scary scenarios, which made me nervous. After a while, I saw the headlights of the car near the former dam construction office. The car must have passed by me and gone to the office. But it's a deserted, empty office building. There's nothing there. It's not a place where people would visit this late at night. While I was staring into the dark, the engine of the car stopped, and its headlights were turned off. I could see 2 flashlights flickering in the darkness. The lights moved into the office building. They must think I'm hiding there. I held my breath and kept watch on their movements. I can't tell who they are, but I bet they're pawns of the Sonozaki family. They know that I ran away from home. They must be looking for me everywhere in the village. Though I needed to conceal my breath, my face started feeling itchy, and I had the urge to stretch my legs. My own body infuriated me. Yeah, you're getting itchy. The disease is coming in. The humidity made me sweat all over, so the back of my knees and my neck had been itchy for quite a while. Scratching would make an unbelievably loud noise, so I decided not to scratch anymore. It usually doesn't make any noise when I just scratch some mosquito bites. I'm probably just being nervous and overreacting. There's quite the distance between me and them, and I'm in the dark, holding my breath. They wouldn't notice it even if I sneezed, let alone scratched myself. But I didn't want to make any noise at all, so I tried to forget the itchiness. But after all that, I ended up scratching everywhere like mad. Yeah, that's not good. I have to live in hiding like this for a little while. I don't know how long I can go when I'm so nervous on just the first night. I needed to toughen up more so I can remain placid, even in a situation like this. I forced myself to relax, scratched my neck without hesitation, and tried to cope with the sticky sweat all over my body. Yeah, she's not making the connection that the itchiness is probably the same itchiness that she felt back when she was hallucinating the maggots in there. Hey Liz, how's it going? You didn't know if you mentioned, you meant by Rina being mentioned in Chapter 3 as a murderer Teppei's lover, which made him move back into the village. Yeah, she wasn't a murderer, she was murdered, right? Pretty sure that's how it went at the start of Chapter 3. But yeah, I think they mentioned her name like once, and I don't remember that. Whew. I started getting hungry. My stomach growled. That's a good sign, though, since it means I'm starting to relax. I can't eat yet, though. It'd make a lot of noise. I've decided that I'm going to eat Cheetos. Do you hear chewing? Nah, just the wind. Must be just the wind. I decided to wait until they finished looking for me and then went away. Go away. Go away. I can eat if you go away. It seemed like the intentions I was sending out bore fruit. They had stopped looking around the building. However, I must have concentrated my thoughts too strongly. They were pointing their flashlights in my direction. Did they notice me? No. Not only that, they're walking towards me. I made my body as small as possible, hid under the blanket, and listened for their footsteps as carefully as I could. All the while, I heard footsteps coming closer and closer. Since the footsteps are coming straight towards me, they must already know where I am. It's scary. But there's no way they already know where I am. If they did, they wouldn't have wasted their time looking around for me at the office building. And they wouldn't walk as slowly as they did. It's just a coincidence that they're walking in this direction. Since I'm hiding under the blanket, I can't see who they are. I don't know where they're shining their flashlights, so I can't stick my head out from the window to see who they are either. I just have to stay motionless like a rock until I sense that they're gone. Uisi mentioned where she worked, significance of that tip with her business card in this chapter, and that she died because she touched the Sonozaki's money. I don't remember that part. Gotcha. They stopped when they came near my hideout. I could hear their conversation. The gangsters. I could tell by the sound of their footsteps that they went separate ways and that each of them is walking around the piles of trash separately. I made this hideout out of an abandoned car. I just redecorated it. So on the outside, it still looks like nothing other than an abandoned car. But once you look inside, you can instantly tell it's more than that. So if they look inside, I'm done for. It's obvious that they're looking for me. Are they a Sonozaki core attack unit? If they find me, I'll be killed for sure. I know all too well that this place is perfect for murdering people. I killed 2 people here myself. If I can do it, it'll be no problem for them, because they're real professional killers. Even so, there's nothing I can do right now. I just have to pray that they'll leave here soon. At that time, I heard a slight beeping sound.
Atsushi desu. Kando ryōgō. Hai. Gogura? Hai. Ryōgai desu.
どうした？
竜宮レナはゴグラらしい。目撃情報があったそうだ。
おいおい。
Oh no.
お手上げだぜ。
Based on Rena's thought process where she's like, even I could appear before me, she's gonna think there's like a fake her, and it's gonna make her even crazier.
どうするんだよ。
とにかく是が非でも捕まえて
Oh,
連
and
れ
she's
てく
gonna
って
think
旦
that
那
the
の
mountains
命
of
令だ。
Gogura are gonna be the research facility.
たとえ行ったのが札幌だろうと博多だろうと追っかけるしかねえだろ。
無理だぜ。見つかるわけねえ。それでも探さなきゃなんねえのか。
旦那は竜宮レナの持つ高野美代のスクラップ帳ってのを欲しがってる。
Okay, so they actually do want the scrapbooks.
あんだけの剣幕になるんだから相当のもんだろうぜ。
Did they mention he wants them? Who is he?
で、俺たちはどうするんだよ。
竜宮家前に貼り付けだけ残して他は引き上げだそうだ。戻って麦茶でも飲もうぜ。
Or, oh, they're not talking about Uisi because these are the Sonozaki family members. Huh. So she's partly right. Huh. I heard their footsteps going further, and then I didn't hear them anymore. After a while, I heard the engine of their car starting. I finally got out from under the blanket and looked outside the window. The car made a U-turn and drove away. The sound of the engine faded away into the darkness. I heaved a sigh of relief. I scratched at all of my itchy mosquito bites, wiped the sticky sweat off my face and neck, and finally allowed myself to cough. I'd heard their conversation clearly. They're the pawns of the Sonozaki Corps, without a doubt. It matches with what Uisi told me, and they said something very important. They clearly said that they're after the scrapbooks. Up until now, I'd only assumed that they were chasing after me because I had Mio-san's scrapbooks. I could have forced myself to believe it was just my assumption. But they said it loud and clear. We need to find Reno Ryugu. She has Mio Takano's scrapbooks. That's what they said. Yeah. This is very interesting. They also said that they're keeping watch on my house. I'm not surprised. That's exactly what I would do if I were them. I can't go back to my house anymore. It's out of the question. But, in fact, they said something way more important than any of that. She's going to point out to that they saw me in Gogura. They said Rena Ryugu was seen in Gogura. If I was in a normal situation, I'd probably think that it was somebody saw a look-alike and I'd laugh out loud. But the situation is different now. Mio-san was dead, but she was at the festival. I'm here, but I was in Gogura. Mio-san wrote about it in her scrapbooks, and I didn't want to believe it. They're coming closer to me, and I don't mean the Sonozaki family. Something beyond common sense is about to happen. Should I fight it or should I run? I don't even know what I should do. I feel like I'm rooted to the spot with fear. Am I about to be eaten? No. I don't want to be eaten alive. I want to run away if I can't win. If I can't run, I want to fight. I'm going to be happy. I know I am. I'm not going to sit pretty and let them get me. But the enemy Mio-san foretold of in the scrapbooks is coming closer to me, and it's starting to eat me up. I'm in the garbage dump, alone. If I disappeared right now without anybody knowing it, the person who was in Gogura would replace me and start living my life. Nobody would notice the change. My father wouldn't notice it. My friends wouldn't notice it. It would replace me without having anyone noticed it. Wait. Many people close to me might have been replaced already. That's right. The Sonozaki family is plotting bioterrorism, but that's only a part of what they are planning. Is she talking about... She was talking about aliens earlier, but now is she talking about like a cloning op? Is there like an... Does she think there's like an alien cloning operation going on? Mice possessed by them don't get scared of cats. As a result, they don't run away. They'll be eaten by the cats, and they can move into the cats' bodies. Oh, she's talking about the parasite as a living thing. Mice are only used by them for that purpose. It's not that they lose their fear of cats in order to help them achieve their purpose. The same thing goes with the Sonozaki family. They think they're doing things by their own will, but they're just helping them without realizing it. That's exactly how they've lived so long, being the parasite. We're nothing but a bunch of mice to them. Most mice are stupid. They don't even notice their existence. They help them to achieve their purpose, thinking they're living their lives by their own will. But very rarely, a mouse with wits is born. This mouse notices that he's being used, and he also notices their existence. But nobody believes him, so it's not a big deal. He starts thinking that it was his mistake, and he gets swallowed by them. Eventually, he disappears. But even more rarely, a mouse appears from nowhere, notices their existence, and objectively proves it. That mouse was Mio-san. To them, this mouse was a rare and very dangerous existence. That's why they resorted to unbelievably bold and violent methods to try and eliminate that mouse when it appeared. Nah, she's suspicious as heck. I mean, bro, the fact that we learned that she faked her own death in Chapter 2 is kind of crazy. If we never learned that, then things would be completely different. But surprisingly, we knew about those measures. But the stupid mice don't believe it. They don't notice that they are forcing them to not believe it, and that they're helping them in the end. Who? THEM! They killed Mio-san. And they tried to replace her, but they made a mistake. We found the real corpse of Mio-san. No, that's a fake one. That's why they failed to replace her. They'll try to kill me and replace me too. Or they'll replace my friends in order to get close to me. They'll look just like the real people, but they're totally different inside. They're an abnormal existence that's beyond our imagination. I know they'll appear. No, they're already here. It appeared the day after Mio-san died, and it appeared in Gogura tonight. They'll keep coming. They're openly after me now. They'll keep coming. They'll keep going. They just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming. Right then, I heard somebody coming down the slope. Uh-oh. I concealed my presence again, and I looked at the direction where the footsteps were coming in. I could see one flashlight. It looked like there was only one person now. Who is it? This late at night? Its shadow is very small. I can tell it isn't an adult. I felt a chill running through my body. It shined the flashlight towards my hideout, and its footsteps were coming straight toward me. It's different from the other guys earlier. I can tell by the sound of the footsteps that it knows I'm hiding here for sure. Oh, this has got to be Rika, right? Because she actually, her clairvoyant knowledge means she knows that she's hiding out here. No, it must just be a coincidence. I should just conceal myself again. I can make it through this again. I made it through last time. I need to hide. I need to hide. I pulled the blanket over myself, made myself as small as possible, and kept telling myself that I was a stone. But its footsteps kept coming closer and closer. And it knocked on the door of my hideout. I opened my eyes wide. I broke out into a nervous sweat. Not wanting to believe the sound I heard was a knock, my mind went completely blank. But it knocked on the door again. I could feel a light shining on the blanket. It might be shining the flashlight on me. But I still held back my fear. This also could be Keiichi, but Keiichi I feel like wouldn't be described as tiny. As long as I don't move, it can't put a finger on me. I kept telling myself that as if I was casting a spell. I tried not to shake in fear. Okay, it's not Keiichi! It laughed. It has laughed at me because I thought I was still hiding perfectly. But I still tried. Because if I got out of the blanket... Yes, Rika. It's creepy, Rika. Whoa! CG! I threw out the blanket and saw the owner of the voice. It is Rika-chan. This is an epic CG right here. Also, Rika looking low-key terrifying in that CG. Wow. Now, why is she here? Why did she come here to see me and in her school uniform? I don't understand why she came all the way here alone this late at night. I realized all of a sudden. She looks just like Rika-chan on the outside. But she's not her. It is just copying her appearance. It came to Mio-san, to me, and to Rika-chan. I decided to talk aggressively on purpose in order to work up my courage before the fear crushed me down.
Rika-chan, kana? Me.
Uh-huh.
他の誰に見えるのですか?
Why were you talking so creepy just now, Rika? It answers just like the Rika-chan I know. But I know it's not Rika-chan. Rika-chan wouldn't come to a place like this so late at night.
わかるよ。リカちゃんじゃないんでしょ。ごあいにくだけど、私の目はごまかせないよ。外見がリカちゃんであっても、あんたはリカちゃんじゃない。私の友達のフルでリカじゃない。何者？
Rika's like, what are you talking about, crazy lady? Rika looked stunned for a while. She looked as if she didn't understand what I was talking about, because she don't. But she pretended like that for too long. If she really didn't know what I was talking about, she wouldn't be able to stand in the silence for this long, but she kept quiet. And she finally showed her true character. That is a very creepy laugh. It laughed. It laughed at me because I figured out something that was almost impossible to figure out. That it was not Rika.
あんた、誰?
It didn't answer my question. It kept laughing for a while. And then it looked straight in my eyes in a way Rika-chan never did before, and it said this.
私もこの世に生きて長いけど、私をリカじゃないと見破ったやつは初めてよ。あなたは勘がいい人だと初対面から思ってたけど、大したものね。
What? She clearly spoke to me the things I was most afraid of. I was completely shocked. It's like she told me everything that could possibly scare me. I didn't want to hear any of this. It's something I can't possibly twist in a way I can comprehend.
でもあえてリカだと名乗っておくわ。
Low-key one of the scariest sprites in the whole game.
私もリカを自分の呼び名だと思ってかなり長いしね。
What the cuss is happening?
へえ、長いってどれくらいに？
大したことはないわ。ほんの100年程度よ。
What?
はあ？
What the heck are you talking about?
何を言ってんのあんた？
That's what I said. I'm contradicting myself. I know the person who's standing in front of me isn't Rika, but at the same time I deny its existence. As long as humans hold this kind of emotion, they can never accept unknown existences. In other words, we can never accept them.
怯えなくていいわ。あなたは社内、私は社外。互いに相手に物騒なことをするのは簡単じゃない。
You say that, but is that really true?
お互いに都合のいい距離だと思うけど、私が何百年生きていようとも、フルでリカは所詮 小さな子供だもの。
So this has to be demonic possession at this point. Like, pretty much confirmed. Unless Rika's just being really, really effing weird.
あなたに腕力で勝てると思ってないわ。むしろ逆上したあなたに飛びかかられないか不安なのはこっちの方なんだから。
Well, if she has the hatchet, that might be true, but if you are, well, again, this is assuming that it's accurate demonic functionality to real life. I realized that this creepy thing that looks just like Rika was only here to talk to me. I felt my tension fade away a little bit. But still, I don't know what she wants to talk to me about at a place like this so late at night. I'm like a fish on a cutting board. There's nothing I can do other than to wait and see what's going to happen. I waited for it to make a move for a while, and then it opened its mouth again.
あなたは何かに怯えている。それは正解。
It uses sarcasm. Rika-chan's cute face looked uglier than ever when it smiled. I held back my fear and I tried to reply firmly.
ええ、おかげさまで。
そう。何に怯えているの？
あんたらが一番よくわかっているくせに。
It told me earlier that we were safe from each other because one was in the car and the other was standing outside. But it's obvious that I'm the one who's being driven into a corner. While I'm talking to it, I could be surrounded by its minions. I got scared and tried to listen to the sounds of my surroundings carefully.
怖がらないで。
I'm never gonna get used to that face from Rika. It's really creepy.
私はあなたを助けに来たんだから。
I mean, you tried to save the day last chapter, Rika, so I kind of believe you, but also kind of don't.
助けに。へえ、どうやってかな。
あなたはね、ちょっとしたお薬で楽になるのよ。
Okay, I just heard something fall, I think, in my bathroom. Pretty sure it was probably just one of my toiletries. But having that happen at this time with all the lights in my house turned off is kind of scary. Okay, doesn't count game. Chapter 1 still scared me more than that, but... Okay, so Rena needs medicine, apparently. Really? I mean, yeah, she is, like, itching all over the place, right? Maybe she's, like, mentally sick? Rika also had a syringe in Chapter 2/5. We never really found out what was in it. I assumed it was a drug that would just kill Shion, since she was torturing everybody. But, this is... Okay. Let's see where this goes.
私はその薬を持ってきたと言ったら。
薬？
She's gonna think it's like the drug, though. It put its hand in its pocket and took out a small case. It opened the case and showed me what was inside. What was in there made me gasp in surprise.
注射器。
Okay, gotta be real, folks. Rika with this face looks way less frightening in photo negative than in regular photo. It's not normal for a person to carry around a syringe. I have no idea what's going on. But what Rika-chan is holding in her hand is a syringe. There's no way I can twist that fact around.
そう。あなたを楽にしてくれる注射よ。
楽になれるって？私には分かってる。それ富武さんを殺した薬物の正体は。
It's either that, or it might actually be like an antidote of some kind. It really depends on, is Rika good or not? Oh, this is interesting. Why use the drug to kill Shion instead of something else? Because this isn't America and Rika can't get a gun easily. That's why. Drugs are the next best thing.
原子の力を持った寄生虫ウジワキ病を再現させる恐ろしい注射
Well, Rena, here's the thing. Judging by your itchiness, I think you still have the maggot disease. So maybe you have it, and maybe she's trying to help you. Or maybe she's trying to ramp up the maggot disease. But I don't know why Rika would do that. Unless Rika actually is Oyashiro-sama. Hence why she's acting this way with a really deep voice.
富武の注射はね。でも、これは違うわよ。本当よ。
It giggled. It isn't the giggling that scares me. I'm scared that it admitted the cause of Tomotake's-san's death so easily. And it also admitted the direct cause of the maggot disease that Tomotake-san died from.
私にもあの死に方をさせるつもりなんでしょ
Gotta say, if you're actually the real deal, Rika, and you're genuinely trying to help, you probably could have done it in a way where you're acting less creepy. Just saying.
そしてゴグラに現れたレナが私に入れ替わって一件落着そういう魂胆なんでしょ誰がそんな注射をするもんか
まあ嫌がるとは思った。明らかに怪しいしね。
分かってるじゃないのならどうするの富武さんみたいに集団で襲って無理やり注射でもするの
Tomotake-san's autopsy report said that he had bruises on his body that proved he was fighting against several people right before he died. That means they must have ganged up on him to give him the shot against his own will.
無理に襲って注射したいけど、あまりうまくいった試しはないわね。
It never really works? What are you talking
だ
about?
から無理やりってのはもう諦めてるわ。
Why are you phrasing it like that? Past tense. Hmm.
だからあなたの自由意志に任せることにする。
Okay, that does give you some credibility there, Rika.
ふざけないでそんな薄気味悪い注射誰が使うものか
Anything but the
私
Steam
もそのあ
sprites?
たりは悩んだわ。
Look, I mix and match the sprites, but there are some times where the Steam sprites are my favorite, and Rika's, especially her creepy faces, are definitely some of them.
どうなだめすかせばあなたに注射できるかをね。強引にも無理だし理解も得られない
Because
し。
just as fun, if we switch the art style here, she doesn't look creepy at all in the OG art style. She doesn't look creepy in this one, she just looks disappointed. This one, she looks like creepy and like hyper serious.
なら結局私はあなたの判断に任せるほかないってこと。
そんなのは聞くまでもない
It's the eyes. The eyes are staring into my soul. And that's how I want it.
誰がそんな見えすいた罠にかかるか
まあ想定通りの反応よ。どうせ期待してなかったし。
Yeah! Okay, yeah, and like for this creepy smile here. This one doesn't look creepy. This looks like Rika's just like, I beat you. I got the last cookie and ate it before you did. Okay, this one's, I guess, a little creepy. This one's like a, I know something you don't know. And then this one's like a, yeah, come at me. See what I'm made of. Oof. It heaved a sigh, making a gesture as if it is mocking me, and smiled bitterly. It looked as if it was saying I'm a lower animal that can't understand it's being given a chance for salvation. I kind of want to say I'll take the shot on a dare, but I know that's exactly what it is intending to do.
とっとと帰ってお前の仲間に注射には失敗したと伝えるがいい私は負けない最後まで徹底的に抗ってやる
What a way to put it, the cookie analogy. I try.
そして 1% にも満たないかもしれない勝機をつかんで必ずや貴様らを撃ち滅ぼしてやるから
そうならばせいぜい頑張りなさいな。どうせもうすぐ滅ぶ世界だしね。
滅ぶ
あなたには関係のないことよ。井戸の中のカエルが井戸の外なんかに興味を持っても仕方ないでしょ。
Rika's actually playing the game alongside us. She's like, I know we're close to the end of chapter 6, so I'll just do something in chapter 7. That actually could be the case. I'm still going for the demon possession theory as of now, but I might change that based on this conversation. At this stage in the game, it said something very dubious. I tried hard to understand what this horrifying creature was trying to say.
私をこれからどうするつもりなの？
私はどうもしないわ。好きにすればいい。
Imagine if Keiji shows up now and is like, Rika, what are you doing? It's almost too easy. As far as I know, do whatever you want means ignorance or release when your enemy says it to you. At the very least, it isn't a bad thing. Or does it have another meaning? In that way, I overinterpreted the meaning of the sentence, but then it said it again.
あなたの好きなように過ごせばいい。このリュウグウレナにはもう興味ない。次のリュウグウレナとうまくやれるようにするわ。せめて次のリュウグウレナは変に勘が良くないことを祈るだけよ。
Okay, hang on. Assuming that the whole cloning thing is not real, which, like, clearly it can't be, she is referring to the next chapter. Presumably, right? Okay, so maybe she doesn't have just clairvoyant knowledge. Maybe she just has knowledge of all the previous loops. But if that's the case, I feel like Rika definitely would have done much different stuff. Also doesn't explain why she's talking in this way, in the hyper deep voice, and referring to herself as separate from Rika. Demon is time traveling to different chapters? I'm probably so far off. I was scared of it, just like I'd be scared of a judge handing down a death sentence.
私も昔は途中からね、このひなみ沢にもう興味ない。次のひなみ沢を探しに行くことにするわ。
Huh? Okay.
でもあなたには
Yeah, okay.
このひなみ沢しかない。
Okay, so she just confirmed it then, yeah. So she has knowledge of all these different timelines.
だから
Whether
せいぜ
it's
い頑張っていきなさいな。
whether it's Rika who has this, or whatever thing is possessing her, if something is possessing her. Oh, that's interesting. It was telling me scary things one after the other. This was obviously a warning of Hinamizawa's destruction. It means the climax is coming soon. They have already prepared another Rena. When I lose to this fate, they are going to replace me for Rena as if nothing happened. They're very well organized. That's not what she's talking about. You know, if you know what Rena is thinking, why would you specifically word your stuff in a way that she'll interpret it as her own delusions? Like, why? What humans are most afraid of is their lives, for their lives is to lose all value. Your life becomes worthless when you're told that you have a replacement. It's like an indirect death sentence. It closed the syringe case and put it back into its pocket. It turned around and started climbing up the slope. At the top, it looked back and spoke without as much an evil smile.
じゃあね、さよなら。このリュウグウレナ。次のリュウグウレナでは仲良くしてね。ほとんどの場合は仲良くできてるんだから。
次のリュウグウレナなど許すものか。私は私だ。たった一人だ。お前らの思い通りにはならない。絶対に、絶対に。
I wondered if my scream was reaching it. It looked at me coldly. It looked at me as if I was just an image of the past on a TV screen.
たまにはこういう会話も面白いか。
Still does not explain. Rika? If you actually are trying to help her, you're literally going out of your way to act as creepy as possible. You're not helping your own case. We also still don't know who the weird other girl apparently living with Rika is, but alright. That laughter gradually disappeared into the darkness. I guess we get a bit more of an insight as to why she's drinking wine. Either there's someone else controlling her who's probably a lot older. Or if she's lived through all the different chapters. No, if she's lived through all the different chapters, she's still young. Weird. That'll give me something to think about before next stream, I guess. That laughter gradually disappeared into the darkness. It disappeared into the darkness as well. I was the only one left there. I'm forsaken, and they don't care if I disappear. They told me I should struggle as much as I want because it doesn't matter anyway. They already have a replacement. They don't need me in their Hinamizawa anymore because my intuition is too sharp. In the manga, Rika literally makes a face that makes her look like an alien. Really? Rika's not doing herself any favors. When I realized that, I noticed that this garbage dump is a perfect grave for me. Then I realized that this place wouldn't work as a hideout anymore. I'd better start packing and move somewhere else. It told me to struggle as much as I want. I'm going to do just that, damn it! Damn it! I have to get ready to move out from here. I'm going to put everything back into my backpack, and I have to leave here as soon as possible. The light of the flashlight wasn't enough to see by, so I turned the table lamp on. The light made things show up very clearly. When I reached my backpack, I realized something and gasped in surprise. The palm of my hand was covered with an eerie liquid. I thought I'd wiped my sticky sweat earlier, but it wasn't my sweat. Then where did this blood come from? I realized it right away. I was scratching the mosquito bites on my neck earlier, and I scratched them until it bled. Rena! Yeah, you probably... Well, no, you can't take the drug. Rika took it with her. When I noticed that, I remembered the sensation, a mixture of pain and itchiness. I felt something moving near the wound on my neck, so I scratched it again to get rid of whatever it was. So this has to disprove your whole theory, right? Because you're in Hinamizawa, you don't want to leave, and you're getting the maggots again. Unless she's like, no, they knew I was going to leave to hide. My hand got sticky and wet with blood again. I can't see where the things are because I don't have a mirror, but I know. They're already spreading throughout my entire body, causing the itchiness on my arms and the back of my knees. Oh, hey! It's this music that I had for the stream starting screen. I'd never experienced this before. I think I've gotten bit by a bad bug or something, but unfortunately, I already know what's causing the itchiness.
なんでどうして
I said it with hatred. Why now? Why here? It's the maggot disease, without a doubt. If I cut the veins on my arms, the dusky red gross things would fall out. But it's impossible. I didn't get any suspicious shots! But it doesn't have to be a shot. They might have put the drug in my food, and I might have eaten it without noticing. I don't think they put it in the food at my house, but I used to share a lunch with my friends at school. They might have put it in the lunches. That Rika who visited me earlier was shining the flashlight on me, so she knew I was scratching my neck so hard it bled. Nevertheless, she acted like there was nothing wrong, and she told me that I wouldn't last long. Now I know why she was laughing at me in a sarcastic way. She knew that I wouldn't have much time left. It itches very badly, but I can't scratch. The more I scratch, the itchier it gets, and it's not going to do the same thing Toмотake-san did. Damn it, damn it, damn it! The itchiness might not be temporary. It might actually get worse. I don't know if it's going to stop soon or if I'm going to last until I die from it. I don't know anything anymore. I just have to endure the itchiness. I wiped the blood on my neck with a towel, clenched my teeth, and tried to erase the desire to scratch my neck. The wound was throbbing. I wanted to scratch it so badly, but I couldn't do that. I fought back the desire, biting the end of the towel. I scratched the other parts of my body really hard in order to forget about the itchiness of my neck, but it didn't really work. I just prayed for the itchiness to go away, closed my eyes, and fought back the desire. That seemed to be the best way. I let my mind go blank, breathing hard for a while. I felt like the itchiness got a little bit better. I took a deep breath and I immediately started panicking. Staying here is more dangerous than the itchiness. I have to leave here as soon as possible. I felt it while packing my stuff. I felt the end coming closer, the end that Rika told me about earlier. I assumed that I could live until the end, but I might have been wrong. I might follow the same path Toмотake-san took, way before the end comes. I was sweating like crazy, and it felt so nasty. I know it's not sweat, but I'm not going to think that it's sweat for now. Or I'm going to think it's sweat for now. I wiped my neck with the towel and hurried to leave. When that music starts playing, you know stuff's getting serious.